Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Hit the like button, subscribe, and make sure those bell notifications are turned on as well. Plus, join that group chat. Scan the QR code. You can see it on the screen. We post all our videos in there. And we know the notifications on YouTube are terrible, but if you're in that group chat, you will get the notifications there. I want to talk about Chelsea today. We've seen a summer where there's been some good transfer business. They've been piling in the young players as well. And as David Ornstein has said on Rio Ferdinand's channel, they're not breaking any rules. And although you may not agree with their strategy, anybody questioning how they can afford this, how is this being done, just don't understand football finance, at least not in the short term anyway. No rules are being broken. However, that doesn't mean that they are not facing the possibility of relegation at the moment, huge points deductions, or maybe even a transfer ban. Investigations into Chelsea's financial rule breaks under Roman Abramovich are reaching a conclusion. That has come directly from the Premier League chief Richard Masters, as the fans are now fearing, at the very least, a transfer ban. When Todd Bowley's led consortium purchased Chelsea in May 2022, they self-reported multiple historic cases of incomplete financial information during Abramovich's tenure. The Guardian and the Bureau of Investigative Journalism later reported that leaked documents showed how Roman allegedly used offshore companies to make transactions to agents and associates which appear to have benefited Chelsea. These alleged payments were said to be worth tens of millions of pounds and could therefore have breached the financial rules if not officially declared. And we know these led to the signings of Samuel Eto'o. There was, of course, how can I forget his name? Hazard, the appointment of Antonio Conte, and multiple other players. Essentially, Chelsea paying agent fees, paying for players off the books. There's deals they did where it appeared via the club as a free transfer, but in fact they paid 20 or 30 million pounds via offshore mechanisms to purchase these players, essentially or allegedly to try and circumvent the FFP rules. Now, this isn't a weird leak. This isn't a situation of hearsay. Chelsea self-reported. And we've only been made privy to 4 or 5 of these alleged transactions. Reportedly, there were more, but the media were not given that information. And Todd Bowley's led group self-reported. Some will say, why grass yourselves up? Others may suggest, well, with the idea of regulators being introduced into football, the last thing you want to do is bury deeper these irregularities, these alleged offences, to be discovered in years to come, because that could lead to a point where you get into more trouble. Now, that all being said, within the article released in the Daily Mail, it says there have been so far no sanctions from the Premier League, and Masters provided an update on the probe when questioned by TalkSport ahead of the Premier League season getting underway. He says, what we are talking about is something historic. It is complicated, where we have the club talking to us about things that have happened under a previous ownership. All I can say is that the investigation is reaching a conclusion, and until it is done, it has done so. I can't really say what's going on and what's going to happen next. And this has led to a lot of Chelsea fans believing that a transfer ban could be on the way. Remember, the original articles that came out in relation to this situation is that Chelsea could face points deductions. They could also be relegated, theoretically, depending on their performance that season, if the breaches were as bad as maybe many people thought. But I've always held the opinion that self-reporting, saying, look, we found these irregularities, we're disgusted by them, look, here they are, we'll open our books, we'll let you come and investigate the football club, we're going to cooperate fully, would always lead to a lesser punishment than being discovered, the cloak and dagger that goes with it, and then trying to hide it and protect it and defend it and act as though you have done nothing wrong. Generally in life, whether it's criminality or civil, if you're cooperative, if you work with the authorities, if you hold your hands up and say, we have done wrong or I have done wrong, typically speaking, you get in less trouble. So my personal feeling is that it may be a transfer ban. And I focus that on, again, Chelsea's transfer business. I'm not saying that I agree with every individual transfer that they are making. However, they are stockpiling. And I believe some of that is to sell some of these players in 2 or 3 years' time for money. Also, maybe Chelsea have had the strategy all along. They have been looking beyond the end of their nose to look, maybe they have consulted with the Premier League and they've been given a sense that you might get a fine, you might get a 1-window or a 2-window transfer ban, because you're probably going to have to be punished if Chelsea Football Club have broken the rules. Because you've cooperated, it won't be a big points deduction. It won't be, 4 windows. The fine will be smaller. So maybe Chelsea have just felt we've got to spend our money now while we still can. And at least then we'll have a big, thick, deep squad so that we're able to circumvent a year or two without the need to buy players. So I don't think it is a crazy conspiratorial theory from Chelsea fans, rivals, media outlets to think a transfer ban could be on the way. What is very important for Chelsea, though, is to improve this season in terms of the league, because nobody does quite know the outcome of this situation yet. You'll find it's unlikely that there will be a trial or a hearing in the same way as Manchester City, because Chelsea have self-reported these irregularities. Therefore, what are you going to court to defend yourself over? Is it worth the legal fees if you've grassed yourself up, essentially? So I think this will just be a sanction, and Chelsea will probably accept the punishment that's coming their way. It was always likely to be far less than the potential punishment of Manchester City if they're found guilty, who have gone down the route of, we're not showing you any of our books, we're not showing you any of our information, we are refusing to cooperate. Ironically, while they have between 30 to 40 additional charges on top of the financial irregularities, are all for not cooperating, which, by the way, even if they're proven innocent, they may still also they may be found guilty on those charges because they still have failed to cooperate, which is against the rules that they have signed up to. So I think Chelsea have done themselves a massive favour by going about this circumstance in a different way. But I would love to ascertain and get your opinions in the Football Terrace community on this situation. What do you believe the outcome of this investigation will be? Do you believe that Chelsea's stockpiling of players, the money that they have spent, the 1.3, 1.4 billion invested in the last 3 summer windows, is almost a preemptive, proactive move to ensure they have a big, deep squad in case they get a 1-window, 2-window, 3-window transfer ban, in case they do get a big fine that eats into their PSR ability? Because I'm sure if the Premier League fines them 20, 30 million pounds, they're not going to let them write that off as non-PSR related, considering the fine would be for circumventing PSR and FFP rules. Could you see anything worse? Points deductions, relegations, etc. I'd love to ascertain your opinion on this. Chelsea fans, how do you feel about this? And the Chelsea fans that believe they're getting a transfer ban, just want to understand how you think this will impact your club, good, bad, or indifferent. I'd love to read your comments in the comment section below. Until next time, take care, goodbye, God bless, and we'll see you all again soon. Peace.